Thanks for joining us. We have a very interesting panel today on a topic that is that I'm personally very fond of. So it's a pleasure for me to welcome our guests here. The topic is AI generated art, and what can this technology do now? What is the future of this technology, and how does it impact us as and you as game developers? And here with me today, we have three panelists that have experience, have had some experience with this tech, and I'll kindly ask them to introduce themselves, talk a little bit, 2 minutes each, what you guys are doing, and your experience with the AI generated art. Maybe we can start with Mihaela.
Hello, I'm Mihaela Dragan, and I'm a 3D artist working for AAA games. Just as a reference, I worked for Remember Me, Life is Strange, everything that Don't Nod Entertainment from Paris did in the last 10 years. And in the same time, I worked for Deathloop from Arcane, Dishonored Doi from Arcane, and the last game I worked for was Dune Awakening from Funcom, the MMO, which is announced quite recently. And I tried AI, of course, because everybody wants to try it, especially the artists. And my experience was just wow. I mean, I was scared first and amazed and excited in the same time. I think I was scared just because I can't imagine anymore the future. Not because I'm afraid to lose my job. I'm not afraid to lose my job. And so I tried more AI softwares. I tried Stable Diffusion. I tried Freeway. I tried a lot, and DALI, and I think they are all great, and they are all tools. For me, it's just a tool. I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
Xenia.
Hi, my name is Pamfil Xenia. I'm a 2D artist. I worked in the game industry for more than 10 years in Bucharest until I decided to walk the freelance path for a while. In that time, I did comics. I work with the Dynamite Comics, now with Titan Comics recently. And my last project, a comic book based on a game, made me return to the game industry, made me miss the game industry and came back to the industry. Meanwhile, the AI was developed, and when I found out, I was very enthusiastic. And the first person I saw on social media posting AI work was Aurel. And immediately PM him, hey, what's up? Tell me how it works. I want to know more about it. So I started with Midjourney and loved it. I love the experience. For me, it's always curiosity. What will come next? What will produce? What image would come next? And I tried also Stable Diffusion, but didn't like it that much. So yeah, I can't. I'm a Midjourney
Thanks.
enthusiast.
Aurel, a
Hi,
short introduction.
do you hear me? Okay. I'm Aurel Manea. I'm a technical artist working in the gaming industry for the past 17 years. But I'm here because I'm an AI enthusiast and an early adopter. So I started playing with these tools sometime before they became mainstream. So I also got to see them evolve in a couple of months in exponential rates. I think I'm have more experience than most the people with AI generating tools.
Cool. Actually, let's kick off the conversation with that. Aurel, you've had some experience with this, as you just mentioned. Can you take the audience through a very brief history and maybe go through the various AI tools and
Yeah.
how they work and so on? Can you take us to that, please?
Yeah, well, the history starts with neural networks, which were around here for some decades, which are basically simulated brains that can be trained. But regarding especially image generating tools, they came into existence in 2016. There was a team of developers that were training machine neural networks for tagging images. Give them image with descriptions and teach them to give descriptions on those images. So it was pretty advanced. It could describe an image in natural language, not just the elements inside the image, but also the context and the causality and the action that is happening inside that image. But pretty much what happened is that those researchers thought that why not reverse the process? Why not try and give text descriptions and see if the AI will come up with images. So they did that in 2016. They did it with very, very small images of 32 by 32 pixels. So they were just blobs, nothing visual, but you could see that they kind of work. So that's when they published the paper. So after that, as technology evolved and compute power became cheaper and more powerful, people started training their own models with just specific images. Like an AI model could only do like landscape photography or anime character in a certain style, because people were training them on their own computers and they could not train them with billion of images. So these were very particular AIs that could only do certain things. But then what happened is in 2021, uh, OpenAI released DALI version 1, which was sort of amazing. It was a general generative image AI that could do a lot of ideas and prompts. And it wasn't pretty. It looks like child play, child drawings, but it proved that it worked, and it was quite slow. In the meantime, people trained better and better AI models. Diffusion models came into existence, which were the next big step. And all current AI generation tools are based on diffusion models, which are, you can think of them as denoisers. You give them pure noise and you tell them, hey, reconstruct the image that was corrupted here. So the training is by noising images and see if the AI can come up with something describing the original image based on only noise. So then in 2022, it was the grand year for AIs because everything started coming together. We have DALI 2, which is still mind blowing, is the most I wouldn't say the most powerful, but it's the most. It's complicated because I have mixed feelings about it. But pretty much it just went over that threshold. Hey, this is believable. This looks like a photo. This looks like it's man-made. Looks like a painting, an actual painting. So they had a very closed beta with very few people able to access the model, uh, the the software. I was among the first, and
That never happened. So what we're seeing here is basically exponential evolution because you have 5 years of basically nothing, and then in the last year, and actually even more so in the last 6 months, we have amazing evolution of the various emerging tools. And I'd like to go to the next point, and we can't really discuss any kind of art without looking at it. So we prepared for you today a few images generated by the people here. And as we go through these, maybe each of you can talk just a little bit about what went through your head, how you when you were generating those images, and any comments, if it's worth mentioning, any comments about how you actually generated that image, and so on. So anything that feel relevant. So I think we'll start with Xenia.
Yes. This one is part of a collection of tests. This is just a test. I said, I don't know, a butterfly on a leaf. There were many iterations, but we didn't have time here. The prompt is very, very simple, just to see if I can produce the effect that I want. So I tried different techniques like colored crayons, like ink, like watercolor. This is oil painting. Here you can see a prompt how it looks, and a simple prompt. This is a very simple prompt, and the result.
Yeah, this is a very good first example because we can see that we're using a very simple input that basically almost anyone can use, and you use some parameters there, but
Yeah.
those are optional.
Yeah.
But anyone basically can generate these things.
So we have AR. It's the
Yeah.
ratio, and
For the sake of time, we're not going to go through the parameters.
Here we have some examples. I tried to think how can we use this tool. So I did a character on a background generated by Midjourney, and of course I worked on the background also. And the other one, it's a collage. It's the Midjourney generates, if you vary it one image, it will give you a different, a little bit of difference. So you can cut different pieces and make a unique piece that it's yours, and maybe add some stuff on it. And
yeah, okay. So the point here is that an artist can integrate their own work within the with the AI generated image, and to get something better.
Like matte painters, they do this type of work. Here I tried, for the artistic sake of it, some watercolor, like with Art Nouveau. Here I met MG, if you know who MG is. It's a girl in Midjourney that appears very often when you generate girl portraits. So it was... Here I tried to generate an old woman, a middle woman, and a child. I didn't put a middle-aged woman because it's the most simpler, but the old woman was hard to generate, and the harder was the young, the child. It was very hard to generate with many variation, and it was a lot of work. This one, it's a longer prompt. It's a science fiction image, girl on Mars. But I had an error. I wrote in the style of Moebius, but instead of Moebius, I didn't pay attention, and I said Morbius. So that was a happy accident, and that is
That's
what
interesting.
came out.
Right.
Accidents are cool.
Aurel?
Yeah, I have no idea what the prompts were and what I was thinking about when I made them, but incidentally, you chose some images that were made with Disco Diffusion, which is like the grandfather of current AI generated tools. It took like 30 minutes for an image to generate. You can see the reflections are wrong, it's not really coherent. It wasn't there yet, but it does have good composition and colors, generally speaking. So I was experimenting with multiple artist styles. I was learning. I was watching some artist studies. You have these documents of 1,000+ artists and the results on AI image generation and how they look, so you can mix them together. This is my first DALI. This is my first my first Mid Journey ones. I think it was just Sad Woman or something. This is Stable Diffusion. This is poor Mark Zuckerberg with multiple fingers. By the way, this is something you'll see a lot, that AIs tend to generate more or less fingers or more or less arms. But this was my famous series of poor billionaires.
And Mihaela?
Hello. Okay, it's working. Yes, so these are my first images, actually. It's dream of a realistic movie production, Android, Sorayama style, build, Flor de Mal. This I introduced just as an accident from me to see what is gonna do with it. And with intricate details, ornate details, and hood on top of the head, moody atmosphere disintegrated into vegetation actually was. And it's very weird because here, for example, on the bottom ones, it doesn't really look like an android and doesn't look like Sorayama at all. And it's interesting how it chose to represent what I wrote. Yes, this is, I went on this decorative patterns to see what it can create. This was a simple prompt, and I think it was about filigramic armor, intricate details, high definition, something like that. And I was amazed that it came out. Okay, so this is a process like image to image. The original is a very sketchy sketch. It's just brush strokes made by me. I put this as input, and then just with a simple prompt, it generated total different and more detailed versions, which I think are interesting as how it composed and decomposed the variations, but also how it made it much more realistic. So it's incredible, the potential. This is also something sci-fi that is also from the process image to image. I used a sketch of mine, which was a digital painting with this kind of Android, and it made a lot of variations, which are really interesting for me. And this again comes from image to image process. I again uploaded a design, painting made, my digital painting made by me, and it came out with this. And this is, of course, the Tinker. That actually both of them are generated, and again had an input which was a 3D model made by me for Remember Me game. And I put it, and I said transform this into an Android that thinks. And actually here are not all my versions, and it's incredible how many versions the AI did. And the most funny and interesting thing was that in every image the Android who was thinking was moving his hand. You can't see it here, but was in all of them thinking, but with hand like this, with hand like this. So it was incredible how the AI played with the idea. And this is not mine.
Yeah. So, I mean, the point here, this is a tool that is not necessarily for professional artists. So I chose myself as an example. I am not a professional artist, but I wanted to generate some abstract stuff. So this, I also included the prompt here. More experimental stuff like this. I was in an abstract mood that day. And this is a collection of alien-looking roses. These are very simple prompts, like maximum 5 words each, with no parameters or special anything.
So it's Mid-Journey.
It's Mid-Journey, yeah.
Yeah, it does that.
So the point I think we're trying to make here, and this takes us to the next topic of conversation, is okay. This is basically it's a tool that, I mean, we can use this term, democratizes art creation in some way, but it's a very big difference, I think, from what an amateur can do and what a professional artist can do. And actually, maybe you guys can talk a little bit about this. Mihaela, I don't. Maybe you want to comment a little bit about this.
Yes.
By the way,
Yeah.
if you want to use your deck, it's coming right after this.
I don't know if I should. Yeah. Okay, so there are more images from me here. Okay, I'm playing for this. The point is that we all from here just tried this. We are not specialized in AI, and all of us, I mean, two of us are really artists. He's a tech guy, but the point is that we all have some conclusions after trying this tool. And my opinion is that this should be a tool, and that it's a total different result if you want to do something with it, or you just want to make art, or you want to use it for production, or if you're an artist, if you have some skills, or if you don't. And I think that is going to be a huge difference between what you're going to see on the market or galleries online, regarding how this will be used or were used, or what's the point of creating them. I don't think that all the amateurs or who are not artists can do art with it, because this is not a tool who transforms a person who's not an artist in an artist, but it's gonna make him do some nice stuff. But for an artist to use this tool is like having, how can I say, some advantage, uh, creating more original or interesting ideas that you couldn't think of, maybe, or you don't have the time to explore in a very fast way, in a short amount of time. For example, this again could be used like concept artist, for like concept artist. The original is a 3D sketch made by me, and it's incredible how many variations you can create if you're still not sure what you're looking for. This kind of process would take few days if you won't use AI. So I think it's in this situation would be exactly like a tool who's enhancing your work. It's not more.
So the ability to, I think, the ability to input images and generate variations on that is obviously, an amazing tool to improve an artist's output. The Can we talk a little bit about the prompts as well? You know, how do you go from simple prompts to very complex ones? What actually makes a difference in the quality of the output image, in when it comes to prompts? I mean, if we're not inputting images.
I want to say one more thing. So after that, I'm gonna. So I think about the prompts. I think that most of the people now are talking about prompts and the importance of prompts. And exactly on the previous subject, we were talking about how to use this. I think it's even more powerful for the artists just because they can use their own work as artists. So if an artist already has great work, he can use that work as an input, and is not the same as you would use just text to image. So it's a huge difference of quality, or not just quality, but you know, how complex and how aesthetical could that image be if it's directed by an artist with an aesthetic view and technical knowledge within, for example, 3D or 2D art or digital art. that then would be just simple prompt and text. You could be very okay. It would be also interesting on the opposite pole to have, for example, a poet mixed with a programmer who can make incredible, amazing images just by text. And that would be, again, a very interesting result. And it could look like art because there is a poet involved as well, who's an artist as well. But that's what I want to say. For example, I didn't have time to play with prompts because you will talk about prompts. And I wanted to say this. I created all these 45 images that are here without caring too much about the prompts. But I cared a lot about using my sketches and come out with many. So I explored this part, and maybe other people explored other part. But that's the main difference between what can an artist do and what somebody who's not an artist could do. That you can use this as an input.
That's thank you. That's a very very clear advantage for the artist. I don't want to insist on prompts. I mean, but I think it's an interesting point though to explore what maybe Aurel or Xenia, what makes a good prompt in your opinion?
Okay, I'll answer this. Well, a good prompt is a prompt that outputs a good results and shows the intent of the user. I mean, it's not just something beautiful like Midjourney generates with basically any type of words. It's something that the artist expresses something with. So yeah, there is this concept of prompt engineering nowadays. There's actually a marketplace for prompts where you can buy prompts and sell prompts for a specific kind of image. Yeah, we're there, and it's complicated, but actually people can also reverse engineer an image and find problems for a specific image, so they can copy an artist very easily without having to bother with the words. So that's another complicated issue right here. So
But
authenticity is going to be
yeah, we're
an
not
issue.
we don't I mean, that's probably a whole session in itself about the ethics of AI art, and that's something that obviously has not been figured out yet. But I wanted to give you an example. So concerning prompts, so when I was I was watching some stuff that you generated, for example, right? And I,
Yeah.
oh, look what Aurel is doing, is this is so awesome. So and then I was there, trying to figure out what to input, and I realized I just, as a non-artistic person, I, I felt that I completely lacked the vocabulary to tell the AI what I wanted. I mean, you guys, you have studied art, you have knowledge of painters and artists that I haven't heard of, and you as a technical artist, you are acutely aware of all sorts of 3D special effects, and all this tech art stuff that I mean I have only basic knowledge of. So and then so obviously if you have this kind of information, and again speaking about the what an AI, what an artist can do that an amateur cannot, um, but what I one question I had, I saw, for example, on the Midjourney forums, when people were giving examples of prompts, and this is like half a page worth of prompt mentioning listing a whole bunch of artists and a dozen of 3D effects and stuff like that, and mentioning Unreal Engine. And I mean, does this stuff
No.
actually work, or it's
No, people just got used to copying things that seem to work. Probably these long pages of text don't even do anything. There's a token limit, so there's only a limited amount of words you can use. The last part of the prompt will be ignored. Uh, Basically, what you need to do is always add something referencing an artist that is specialized in the type of image you want to do. So, for a fantasy environment, you need to reference some fantasy artists. for sci-fi, some sci-fi artists, you need to add specific words that will make sure that they are related to something that will give you a more aesthetic look, like trending art station, because those images that were used to train the AI were they had alt captions. You know, people put images with alt captions on their images, so the AI learns from these alt captions and probably from the context in where the image is. It's an it's in art station. It probably looks good. So mentioning that works. Mentioning Unreal Engine, mentioning something like intricate details, mentioning something like Octane renderer, 4K, 8K, make beautiful, incredibly beautiful, dramatic lighting,
Okay,
Can
stuff
I
like
add
that.
something?
Yeah.
And there is where the difference between the professional artist and the beginner comes in, because we can add more, like, I don't know, art current, current artistic, like an art style, or you can come with specific things, not
Yeah,
only
that's
trending
that's
on
exactly
art
it.
station
That I mean, I saw that in the
that
prompt, trending on our
everybody
station.
use.
I mean,
use.
okay, so okay, it's not about, as usual with anything. It's less about the quantity and more about the quality of of the input. Great. So we're gonna. No, I'm mindful of time. I'm gonna ask each of you. Can I have the? So sorry. I'm gonna leave this here. Can you comment a little bit about where you see the technology going, and how how this will impact your jobs as game artists? And just for the audience, right after this, we'll open the floor to Q&A, and assuming our AI overlords are with us today, Aurel will also do a live demonstration. So, but first, let's cover this last point.
If somebody has a wired mouse or something, I would be grateful.
I'll, yeah, okay. Before that, Mihaela, maybe.
Yeah, I really wanted to make to give a quote here. I was on the way here, and I said I was thinking of Yuval Harari. I don't know who knows him. I think the relevant book for this event would be Homo Deus. But anyway, so he's a historian and very highly regarded intellectual who wrote some interesting books, and he approaches a lot the subject of AI. And he said the Industrial Revolution created a working class, but the AI will create an unworking class. So this sounds scary, but my opinion, so regarding of what we should expect, as I said, I'm a bit scared because I cannot see the future in the long term anymore because of these tools. And these tools are really indeed develop and evolve incredibly fast. And that's why maybe in half a year some crazy thing will come. For example, I myself am really waiting to play with the 3D creating. Creating an AI in 3D, and this is already there. And in half a year we can speak about this as well. And of course there are animation creating. Animation editing. A lot, all the areas are covered for this entertainment industry by AI, and it's starting right now to just explode. And I think it's amazing. But what I can say that yeah, probably some people. I mean, this is just my opinion. Probably some people in the near future will lose their jobs because I believe Harari. But the good news, as I can see it now, how the industry evolves, is that there will be plenty new jobs because of the coming of this Web3 and metaverses. I mean, metaverses will create incredibly many jobs for many artists, even if they are not so good, because they will need simple objects that then maybe they are not artistic. For example, tables, everything. I mean, from everything that is in real world they will want to recreate it in metaverses. So
unless the AI creates them.
yes, but yeah, that's a good actually point. But maybe somebody wants to do his own stuff. So then he says, "This is my stuff, my chair, exactly my chair," you know. So and that's gonna be original. I mean, exactly. I don't know how is this gonna go, but I think there will be new jobs, and I think people will also lose jobs. But as long as people are good on what they do, it's still gonna take a lot of time until this jump. It's not gonna happen overnight.
Thank you,
Uh,
Xenia.
I wanted to add, we are no longer Homo sapiens, we are Homo techno, I think. In my opinion, I will start with this. I heard some producers saying, "Oh, I like this AI. Now I can show the artist what I want. You know, I write a prompt, and here, look, this is what I want." And maybe the artist to take it further. And another point of view for me, after doing too many comics and sitting too much at my desk, my body is starting to collapse. So everything hurts. And I was thinking, what if I is my job by creating backgrounds, maybe like you saw in the example, and maybe I just do the characters and the story it's my art. It's also my art. The truth is, we are confused. We have to recognize it. We are all confused and we don't know where this will go. But I'm an optimist, and I'm curious about it, and I like it. That's all.
Can I say one more
Yeah.
thing? Can you imagine what would be like in few years if we would have a neural link in our head from Elon Musk's? And as an artist, you know, AI reads our mind through via neural link. I think it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. When I was little, I loved my dreams. I was dreaming very complicated dreams, and I was thinking, why I cannot draw them? They're too beautiful. I cannot. I tried, but they didn't come up right. And I was thinking, maybe in the future they will build a machine that you could dream and be
No.
connected to it and see your dream like a movie. I think this could be the first step.
That's a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
Aurel, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I have so many thoughts about this. Well, I think there are certain things that are bound to happen. I think a lot of artists, not only visual artists, but musicians, copywriters, writers, lawyers maybe will be affected because it will be much cheaper for anyone to generate an image than to go to a graphic artist or for something they need, especially stock photos or commission works or album covers, stuff like that. Um, so it's going to be interesting from this perspective. Yes, probably there will be new jobs created, but uh, it's going to have some consequences, undoubtedly. Another thing that I think is going to happen is that images themselves will become somehow devalued because they become a commodity and they achieve them so fast and so easy that the phone camera for photography devalued the photography. You no longer feel it as special as it was back in the film days. So I think it's one of the bad aspects of this. One good aspect is because once these things become so fast to achieve, you can build new things on top of them. And those new things, I don't know what they are because there's event horizon here, but it's going to be interesting to see what new perspective this brings, like when digital editing, digital imagery came to be, and with video games, for example, those two being very related. So something like the video games. We'll see what new type of artistic expression we will have.
Thank you.
I want to say one
Yeah.
more thing. Okay, so one more thing that I really wanted to say is that I was impressed to hear. I don't know if he can be considered the creator, but the father or the of the AIDA robot. I don't know who knows about AIDA robot. If so, AI line DA. It's a robot, a real robot, which has 3 years old, is a learning machine. So he's a robot with an AI inside of him, and it's called the first artist robot. You can look for it. This year in September, this robot was invited in the Parliament of Britain to in a discussion about a debate about AI, because they have stable diffusion made in UK, and it was a quite big topic and is incredibly. I mean, it's something incredible. And this creator or father of this is actually a project. Not only one guy created this robot, but he was the guy who helped give this robot the persona of an artist. So and the scary. So one interesting thing that remained in my head, they asked this robot, had his AI inside of him, asked him what's the difference between the art that is made by humans and art created by AI. And the AI from the robot, I mean the robot responded that the people have consciousness. They don't. But the creator of this robot, I mean the artist creator of this robot said that he believes that this is a moment in time where we as artists will humble ourselves and will, as humans, recognize somehow that art is not something so special about us humans. It's revolutionary to think about this, but it's a process and a skill. And if it's a process and a skill, AI can do it. And this is scary. Not it's just scary. I think it hurts our ego as humans.
That's exactly it. Because
As
we keep
artists.
saying, AI can take our jobs, but we'll just
Yes.
be artists and do artistic stuff.
So we are not
but
so special anymore.
yeah, it is an ego affecting thought, but I think it's very interesting. All right, so right on time, Aurel, I will invite the audience to start thinking about questions. Aurel, you can set up your thing.
Yeah.
So we'll do a little bit of a live
Thanks a lot.
demonstration using stable diffusion.
Yeah, let's see what we will come up with.
Putem trece pe microfoanele de acolo pentru el?
Testing. Okay.
In the meantime, while Aurel prepares any question.
It's okay anytime.
Oh, okay. Let's move to Aurel's screen. Can we do that?
No mai?
Live demos, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a question while we sort things out. Any thoughts? Yeah.
Very interesting talk. I really liked it, and I'm impressed by what these AIs can do. My question is, how can this help me? But I have to mention that I'm a programmer, and I have a really hard time communicating anything about art, or even worse, drawing. I don't want to talk about drawing. So I have very big problems with art in general.
What do you want to do? Art?
Broaden my horizons, maybe get used to talking about art with other people. Maybe I can learn something from this. because my background is quite different.
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, it depends how direct you want to have results. But if I were you, I think I would collaborate with an artist because me, for example, as a 3D artist, I always am happy when I have a programmer around me to help me, maybe create scripts or something like that. But if you have AI, maybe help me with some special, not necessarily prompts, but something like it that I myself foresee. I don't know if I'm going to be right, but I foresee that you can hack in the future this kind of prompt, and probably with programming. I don't know if I'm right, but I just imagine this. And otherwise, I think, if you want to do more with art, you just see what you can do with. I don't know if you can integrate the programming in prompts somehow. That's what you can do now, spot on. But in the future, I think you can do much more. I have this feeling.
Maybe think about quality of life improvements or something.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's great. Yes.
Thank you.
I thought you art one, but it's the same thing.
Thank you.
Other questions? Okay, we have one here.
Thank you. So I have a question for the two artists. Basically, since your art is already online on ArtStation and so on, have you tried making a prompt on Midjourney, like in the art of your name? And how does it make you feel if you did?
I tried. I wanted to say this, but I didn't have time. When you use in the style of, I think from my experience, it has to be a very popular artist. If you're not popular enough, I don't think it understands. So
what did it do for you?
Some cute characters. I do cute art in general. It was something in that direction, but it wasn't my style.
So
but
you're in the database.
I don't know. It wasn't quite in the style of, but it was some idea that was fun, It was, and I was like, I would like to develop something. For me, since I discovered this, it inspires me, and I think my art it became a little bit better. It's like working with a great artist near you all the time. It's very interesting and confusing in the same time. Yeah.
Thank you. So it looks like we have Aurel set up online. So Aurel, can you walk us through what you're doing?
I'm using lexica.art, which is a database of 10 million images that were generated in the beta of Stable Diffusion. They were scraped out the Discord server. So you can find here, this is a start place to learn how to prompt. It's a Google for prompts, basically. So I just copied the prompt from here and I started generating here to see how fast it is. See, it's basically almost instant.
Just to clarify for the audience, so this is Stable Diffusion installed on Aurel's PC. If you use the online versions, it's not that fast. But
no, on my 3080 card, it's well, now in streaming it's slower, but it's usually 3 seconds, 4 seconds for image. And the results are quite good with this prompt. Isabella, Child of Dark, highly detailed, digital painting, ArtStation, concept art, smooth, sharp focus illustration, Unreal Engine 5, 8K, art by Argem, and Greg Rutovsky. By the way, Greg Rutovsky is the most important artist you have to name. And Alphonse Musha. Yeah, good result, very fast, couple of seconds. Now we'll send it to image to InPaint. Okay, we go to InPaint. Let's delete this mask and see what can we do with this image now. Okay, maybe add some glasses. Let's see, glasses. We change the prompt to something like no. With glasses. Let's see what it does now. Will it add good glasses? No, wait, no.
did Alphonse Mucha
it,
now.
it was set to animation mode. It can also do animation. 1 second. Let me disable the animation mode. None. There we go. Try again.
Okay.
Not good enough. We'll try again. Much better, much better. But the hair is off. Let's see what can we do else. Okay. Where is delete? What is delete? Pink lips. No, first we need to send it to... 1 second. Pink lipa. What the hell is pink lipa? Let's see if it do pink lips. No. Yeah, it did, but I also forgot the mask for the eyes. Yeah. Undo.
I mean, I think it's still clear, you know, the potential of this stuff. So worth mentioning here. It's a little bit more, you know, technically it's a little bit more difficult to use stable diffusion when it's installed like this. You know, it's more technically complex, but I think it's still accessible, and yeah, you have a lot more flexibility at your disposal.
It's also completely open source. It's uncensored. You can do basically nudes or whatever your mind can think of.
Answering the right questions without them
I know
even
everybody's
being
thinking
asked.
about it. So yeah, DALL-E and Midjourney are heavily censored regarding violence, nudity, and a lot of strange other things. Like for DALL-E, you cannot do weapons or Russians or Ukrainians or cockroaches because reasons. And you also get a very fast ban if you generate this. So, and Stable Diffusion, because it's open source, it has a huge community and it's evolving much faster than the others because people took it on themselves to take it further. So it's a wonderful tool that I advise everybody to try because it's goddamn free and it just is.
Thank you very much. I think we have time for one more question, if anyone. Okay, we have one here.
So up to this point, we've talked about things, design, concept art, things that are supposed to look pretty, but I work as a level designer, and I was thinking if we could also use it for design sketches. For example, if I'm making a level and I need a top-down a map of a hospital, for example, or an office building, could this software generate an architectural sketch for a building or a top-down map?
For a top-down map, yes, it can. I've seen some very good isometric levels generated with Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. It can do a lot of stuff. Yeah, even logos to some extent, and also I think AIs will play a bigger role, a larger role regarding other aspects of game creation, maybe music, sound effects, and even storytelling and world building. You know, you have AIs that basically generate the world, and what I mean by the world is the whole story of a certain war, how characters are related to each other, how they interact. So you don't have to keep track of everything. You can just put it on the AI. But yeah, 2022 is gonna be a big year for a lot of things.
Thank you.
All right.
Another interesting thing, we'll see image to image. I have this masterpiece here that I put together and see if we can do something with it. Who said Paint is not a good program? Let's see, image to image. Blah, 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 blah. What would be resolution? It's really laggy, sorry. Not here. Not here. Let's see. So, what do we have here? What do we want this to be? Well, of course, it's a beautiful landscape photography. Dramatic lighting. With clouds and sun and mountains, lake, reflections, trees. What?
Magic rays.
Magic rays? Ah, maybe some mist.
Beams of light.
We'll also add art station and see if it does something decent. This is an iterative process. You don't. No, it's not. We need to decrease the number of steps, I think.
Cinematic quality.
It's not a one-step thing.
I think it has a sense of humor.
No. Now we lower the number of steps.
Try Lord of the Rings style.
No. It's good, but it's too.
You want cartoonish.
We have to do this, and after that, we do again and again and again. There we go, something closer. We send it to image again. So this is the starting point. We generate again. No, this is bad. We'll try again. No, not good enough. Oh, this was my there. Maybe this. We'll send it to image again. We'll generate again. It lost the original composition. Yeah. We'll send it again. We generate again. And now it's it was in this case it lost its original composition. My previous test worked really well. Let's add 500px Markadamos, which is a famous landscape photographer. It's gonna be more dramatic now. No, not good enough. Why not? But see, this is the idea. It's what Emad Mustak, which is the CEO of Stable Diffusion, which put all his money, he invested all his money in this and then made everything open source and free. What he's trying to achieve is generative search engines, compete with Google, but searching something that does not exist yet. So he has some very nice concepts. I advise everyone to listen to some interviews with Emad Mustak. He's a wonderful guy.
Thanks, guys. We're out of time.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I think this was very interesting, and maybe we can do in the future something more specific to this topic.
And in the end, if you didn't see the movie Her, you should watch it with Joaquin Phoenix.
Thank you.
Thank you all.